Hello, I am Bonnie Hughes. Previously on the investing channel, I was talking about the price of palladium, and I suggested that the price of palladium could potentially fall this year after continuing its rise. Well, yesterday was quite a dramatic day in the fall of palladium, as it fell the most it has in dollar decline since 1984. And why is this significant? Well, palladium seems to have been following the rise in the U.S. economy, but also, and therefore, the rise in the S&P 500. So let's have a look at this chart, which shows the rise in palladium as well as the rise in the S&P 500. And you can see there has been quite a lot of correlation with those two companies, or those commodities and the index in palladium. So does that mean there could potentially be a decline in the S&P 500? Or does it mean that palladium is just going to be replaced with the cheaper platinum in car catalysts, which is what mainly palladium is used for? Well, I'm not really sure. No one really knows. But considering there's been quite a correlation with the S&P 500, you may want to consider that this is a precursor to a potential decline in the S&P 500. And why do I say this? Well, if you look at the next slide that we have to look at, here we're showing the S&P 500 with regard to the ratio between gold and palladium. And obviously, because palladium has been on such a rise and gold has been lower than palladium, the ratio has been quite low in the past. But you can see that a massive decline in the ratio, which means palladium declining quite more and gold rising, was a precursor back in 2001 for a decline in the S&P 500. Now, does history repeat itself? Well, usually it does. And so does this mean that we could have a decline in the S&P 500? Well, certainly if you look on what's happened in the past on this chart, it certainly shows that there is the potential for a decline in the S&P 500. So then you say to yourself, where should I put my money if there is a potential decline in the S&P 500 or potentially take some profit in that index? So if we look at the very next chart, basically what this shows you is the price of palladium to the price of gold. And, you know, very much in the past, they were very closely correlated, and basically there wasn't such a wide divergence in the price between palladium and gold. And as you can see in the past year, the divergence of the price of palladium has been quite dramatic over the price of gold. So therefore, the dramatic price fall in palladium yesterday could potentially show that there is more of a chance that palladium is going to decline and that gold is going to go up. So what you may want to consider is either buying gold bullion or looking at the gold mining stocks, because they haven't quite as moved as much as the S&P 500 has. So thank you very much for joining us, and have a profitable day.